So today I'm going to be sharing some key finance lessons that totally transformed my finances and my life and can do the same for you. Some of these lessons were very hard to learn. Some of them are revelations, but every single one of them provided me with insights as to how I could do things better or improve something, especially when it came to building wealth. And so I'm excited to share these lessons with you because they changed my life. They helped me build wealth over time, and I am certain they can do the same thing for you. That said, if you are watching this video, you're thinking to yourself, I'm too old, I've made too many mistakes, or whatever negative feeling you're feeling about building wealth, I want you to put that thought on pause because you're going to shift your mindset. Building wealth is something that is possible no matter where you are coming from or where you are starting from. The decision to build wealth is entirely up to you because you are the one that's going to be taking the steps and making the actions. And so it's all about being intentional and deciding that starting from today, from right now, you are going to take these steps to achieve the life that you want for yourself. And some of these steps are things that I feel that people don't talk enough about when it comes to money. And I think they will help you shift your perspective as to how you look at your finances and building wealth. One thing to keep in mind as well, though, is that I do not like complexity when it comes to my finances. So a lot of these steps are going to revolve around simple things that you can do starting today to start improving your finances. So let's get into these lessons that I have learned that help me transform my own finances. Hi everyone, my name is Bola Sokunbi. I'm the founder and CEO of Clever Girl Finance. I'm also the author of the Clever Girl Finance book series, the book Choosing to Prosper, and the Clever Girl Finance workbook called My Wealth Plan. Welcome to Clever Girl Finance TV. So let's get into my 7 key lessons that have helped me build wealth over time. Number 1, I learned that it was really important to build systems and not just set goals. So I am the person who has had all the goals, just like you. Save money, invest, do this, have a budget, have an emergency savings account, etc. and etc. I've had all these financial goals, and not just financial goals, life goals as well, that I've had in place forever. But what I found early on my wealth building journey is that because I didn't have systems in place, a lot of time I would set all these goals, but I would start feeling overwhelmed and stressed because I wasn't able to achieve them as quickly as I wanted to because I hadn't built in the consistency to be able to achieve those goals. And what helped things change, what helped me turn around from not being able to achieve my goals to being able to achieve my goals was implementing systems that helped me build consistency. And so what a system looks like I mentioned, I don't like complexity. And so to me, what a system looks like is automating my savings and investments every time I got paid. I would just have that money automatically transferred to those designated accounts. Another system for me that's very simple was setting up calendar reminders. So I remembered when I needed to do certain things like pay bills or make a deposit or make an investment based on those automated deposits I had made into those designated accounts. Another system that really helped me was taking my big giant goals and breaking them into small chunks. So if I had a goal for a year, I would take that goal and break it into action steps I could take every week or every 2 weeks so that it was easier and more attainable to work towards those smaller chunks than focusing on that big overwhelming goal and then falling off because I couldn't stay consistent around it. So for me, helping me have these systems in place created consistency and allowed me to work towards achieving those goals. And so these systems are very simple: automation, calendar reminders, and breaking my goals into smaller chunks. So what systems can you put in place to support your goals? Number 2, I learned that it was so important to be mindful of my circle of influence. Let's be real, we all have people around us that either fuel our motivation to achieve our goals and our visions, or they drain us and they distract us. And personally, in my early 20s, coming out of college, I had a lot of friends who came out of college making a lot of money, and they were more interested in spending than paying off debt or student loans or saving or investing. And I kind of fell into that trap for a little bit where I was spending money, but then I realized that, you know what, I have specific goals I wanted to achieve, and hanging out with certain people was not helping me. And so it was really important important for me to shift my circle of influence. Keep in mind that these were not bad people. These are my friends, people I loved hanging out with and having fun with. But our goals, the things that we were working towards individually, didn't really align. And so it was important for me to spend less time with those people and instead shift my focus to people who had similar goals and visions like I did, that could motivate and empower me, and also finding resources that I could leverage, books, videos, podcasts, articles, etc., that will keep me on track towards achieving the goals that I had set for myself. And so if this resonates with you and you find yourself in a space where you feel like, you know what, it's time for me to shift my circle of influence a little bit, here are a few things that I would suggest. Take inventory of the people that you spend the most time with and determine what they add or take away from your life and you being able to achieve your goals. Join a financial accountability group or community that's going to support you and empower you, like being right here as part of the Clever Girl Finance community. You want to have this space of people that are just going to help you stay motivated as you take this journey to achieving your financial goals. And then follow creators, podcasts, YouTube channels, read websites that have resources and content that will help you stay focused on the goals that you are trying to achieve. So for example, let's say you're trying to start a business, find creators here on YouTube or a podcast or etc., that can help you stay focused on building that business. If you're trying to save or pay off debt, find people who are doing that same thing so that you can stay accountable with them and track your progress with them, even if you might not know them, but they just, by watching them and tuning into their content, you can stay motivated and keep yourself accountable. And this is just a great way to shift your circle of influence and grow on a personal level as well. Your circle of influence matters more than you think. And so it's really important that you surround yourself with people who are going to support you and motivate you and help you grow. So number 3, I learned how important it was to avoid lifestyle inflation as my income grew. And so as I started reaching my savings goals, my spending went up as well, because I was like, you know what? I've saved all this money. I deserve to do this. I deserve to do that. And my spending went up, especially when it came to buying luxury handbags. But for me, the shift happened when I realized that not every pay increase, every pay raise, every bonus, every side hustle income that I got in that was more than I expected, not every increase to my income needed to go to upgrading my handbag collection. Some of those raises and some of that extra money could go towards savings and could go towards investing, and helping me achieve the goals I wanted to achieve for my future self. And so based on what I learned, here's what I suggest if you find yourself in this space of spending every time your income increases or you get a bonus or extra money finds its way to you. When your income increases, increase your savings rate first. So if you get a raise, upgrade your percentage of how much money you're saving. If you get some extra money that comes your way, before you spend it on anything that's non-essential, save a portion of it. If you have a side hustle and you get more money than you expected, save that extra money. And then keep your current lifestyle stable and focus on financial freedom versus the fancier things. It is okay to have the fancy things, to have the nice car, the designer handbag, the nice clothes, to take the vacations, etc. But you want to make sure that you're prioritizing your financial freedom, and all the other things, the nice to haves, you're doing them in moderation. Like I've mentioned before, it's not all about, saving money and investing money and paying off debt and paying bills. You still want to enjoy your life, but you don't want that enjoyment to get so excessive that it derails your goals and it distracts you from the bigger picture. So yes, treat yourself, but plan accordingly and build it into your budget. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. And if you're looking for a guide to help you create a personalized plan for your finances, so paying off debt, saving, investing, and building long-term wealth, check out the Clever Girl Finance My Wealth Plan Workbook to help you create your own personalized plan that you can start putting into effect as you work towards achieving your financial goals. And then be sure to check out the Clever Girls Know podcast. You can find this podcast everywhere you listen to your podcast episodes. It's hosted by me, yours truly, and I interview so many incredible guests on different topics like investing, saving, paying off debt, motherhood, entrepreneurship, and so much more. Okay, let's get back to the video. Number 4, I learned the importance of delaying gratification and learning to wait. So impulse spending has cost me a lot of money. Even now to this day, I still catch myself impulse spending. But one of the things that I try to prioritize is delaying gratification. So one of the things I challenge myself to do is wait before I purchase a non-essential. Like, do I really need to have that thing? I wait 24 hours or 48 hours or sometimes even a week to really think through this purchase, especially if it's expensive. And what I found is that half the time, I don't even want this thing. I don't remember it exists once that time has passed, and I'm able to save my money instead of spending it. So what I do now is I use a wish list to track my wants. I write down everything I want. I even have pictures of it saved in a notes in the notes app on my phone, and I get to look at it over time and decide if this is something that I really want to spend my money on. And I've also learned that by waiting, there is power in the pause, because by waiting, I can decide, okay, you know what, this is something that I actually do want and it's worth me spending my money on. Or I realize that, you know what, I actually don't want this item. It was just me being caught up in the moment, and then I'm able to save my money. And so delayed gratification and learning to wait can be a big game changer in helping you curb your impulse spending. Obviously, there's still going to be times where you find yourself impulse spending. But another rule I set for myself is that I do not purchase, or I try my best not to purchase anything that does not have a return policy. I try not to buy anything that's final sale, so that when I get back home and I realize the error of my ways, and I'm like, Bola, you just impulse spent on this thing you don't want, you don't like, you don't need, I can take it back, I can mail it back, return it, and get my money back and put myself back in check. Number 5, I learned that it was important to max out my retirement savings as early as I could, which I didn't actually do. So when I first started working, I didn't even know what a 401k was. I didn't know anything about retirement savings, but I went to an HR meeting at work and they told us that if we contributed to our retirement account, they would match us up to 6% of our contributions. And so I decided to contribute just enough to get the match. But what I realized later on is that if I had tried my best to max out my retirement savings, I would have saved a lot more money, right, over a shorter period of time, and reached my long-term investment goals for retirement even earlier. And so it's really important that if you are able to, if you can afford to, if you have the income to support it, that you set a goal to max out your retirement savings. You may not be able to do it all at once, but maybe if you increase your contributions 1% or 2% every month or every quarter until you're able to max out, it can help you get there. I strongly recommend that you focus on maxing out those retirement savings so that you can build that long-term nest egg for your future self, and just have that financial confidence that you have that money set aside to support you in your later years. And so if your employer offers a match, at the very minimum, take the match. Do not leave that money on the table because it is free money. So at the very minimum, get whatever match your employer offers you if they have a match. If you work for yourself, open up your own traditional IRA, Roth IRA, or solo 401k and start making contributions as soon as you can. And then you want to make sure that you're contributing consistently to your retirement savings, and then just let time and compounding do the heavy lifting for you. One lesson that really transformed my finances was learning about investing. And so I would say to you, learn about investing. This is how you grow your money. And so it's not just about investing in retirement savings, it's investing outside of it. So one of the big stories about me several years ago was about how I saved $100,000 coming right out of college, right? It took me 3.5 years to do that. It was a huge milestone for me. And it's a story that I have shared here on this channel and in the Clever Finance books and etc. However, of that $100,000 savings, I had over $50,000 of it sitting in cash for a very long time. And so this money missed out on the opportunity of growth from being invested because it wasn't compounding, it wasn't appreciating, it wasn't earning any dividends. And given interest rates, the history of interest rates compared to inflation, it was barely keeping up with inflation. And I thought that because I was investing in my retirement plan, in my 401k, that was enough, but I was missing out on the opportunity to grow my money. And so once I figured that out, and I started learning how investing works, and I built my investing confidence based on knowledge, I started investing. I invested all that money and even more, and I never looked back. And let me tell you, the rewards have been incredible. So when it comes to learning about investing, Check out Grow Your Money from Clever Wealth Finance, but start with the basics. Learn what stocks are, learn about index fund investing, learn about ETFs, and empower yourself with knowledge. Investing does not have to be complicated. Just focus on broad diversification and investing consistently over time. And then don't wait to have enough. So many people say to me, oh, I don't have enough money to invest. You need a lot of money to invest, and that is not true. You can start investing with small amounts of money. Just start focusing on staying consistent and investing on a specific schedule every time you have that money, and watch your money grow. Those small amounts, they do add up over time. And then finally, use credit cards responsibly. I learned how important it was to use credit cards responsibly. In college, I got my first credit card and I maxed this card out, and I couldn't tell you what I spent on it. But the one thing I'll never forget was the interest rate, which is 24.99%, and how much it hurt each time to see my credit card bill growing, even when I was making my minimum payments, because of how that interest rate on my debt was compounding. And so I took that credit card and maxed it out almost as soon as I got it. And then I had to deal with the ramifications of having to pay it off on a very, very tiny income. And so now I still use credit cards because credit cards are a tool. They offer certain protections. Many places don't accept cash or debit cards anymore, but I am very mindful of how I use my credit cards. I use them based on what I have built into my budget. I'm not chasing a travel reward or a gas point or a gift card. No, I'm only spending what I know I'm able to pay off in full at the end of the month. And those rewards, the travel points, etc., I just look at them as an added bonus. And so when it comes to using credit cards responsibly, my suggestions, my tips are: number one, to avoid carrying over a balance if you are able to. So if you have the capacity or the capability to pay off your credit card bill in full when it becomes due at the end of the month, whatever it becomes due, pay it off. Why do you want to carry it over and then pay interest on it when you have the money to pay it off? Number two, if you already have credit card debt, create a debt payoff strategy. No shame, no judgment here. Create your debt payoff strategy and think about ways, get creative with ways as to how you can make extra payments in excess of the minimum required payment so that you can get out of that debt faster. And then focus on using credit cards to build your financial health, not to accumulate debt. And so, for example, responsible use of credit cards can help you improve your credit score, right? And so that's one thing you want to focus on. How can I leverage my credit card to improve my credit by being responsible, by using it, paying my bills on time, not getting any delinquent remarks because I haven't paid my bills on time, and things like that. So there you have it. These are the financial lessons that I learned that really helped to transform my finances when I was on the early stages of my wealth building journey. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to get it all right today. I made mistakes along the way, many mistakes, but I recovered and I learned from them, and I implemented what I learned into taking future steps and setting intention around my finances. So pick one lesson from this video and start applying it today to help you transform your own finances as well. So what takeaways will you be implementing today? What lessons you already have in place have you already learned? Or what lessons have resonated with you that I have learned that you're going to implement into your financial journey today? Share in the comments. I would love to know. Thank you so much for being here, and I will talk to you next time.